the other part about this too is that maybe it's not the current clients, maybe your current clients are used to getting a really good deal and they're not willing to pay any more than that, right? Now, let's contrast. Let's imagine you could bring on other clients that were a lot like the current clients you have, but you were able to offer a much bigger vision for them so they could actually see, oh, wow, you're going to be able to help us get to $5 million over the next 3 years. Yeah, I want to be part of this. Or
welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedluck, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I'm here with my most amazing guest, Mandi. Mandi, thank you so much for being here with us today.
So nice to be on your show. I appreciate you having me.
Awesome. So give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you love to do for business.
All right. So my name is Mandi Ellefson. I am the founder of Hands Off CEO, and we've been around for about 11 years. And we help service businesses, specifically consulting type of companies, B2B services, marketing, sales, operations, those kind of consulting services in the tech field to be able to scale their companies. And we help them build multiple million-dollar companies that can run without them. And we do that by helping them triple their fees and get the CEO out of the day-to-day.
I love it. And how did you come into this as an industry?
Well, I kind of blew up my own business earlier, and it was a very painful process. My second daughter was on the way, like weeks away. That was a pretty intense time where my business had gotten to a point that it was the largest it had been up to that point, and it was all happening. Everything was just kind of blowing up as I was about to have a baby. So I wanted to figure out how to be able to get this, solve this problem. How do I be able to actually get this business to be running, sustaining an income without me? Because that's what a business is supposed to do. That's what I was able to do as a business manager in a previous company that I had managed, a property management company. And I wasn't able to do it for my own business. And the reason why was because it was really tied to my own expertise of it. I later on found out. And at that point, I went and I did a lot of testing. I just basically started talking to other entrepreneurs to find out about the challenges they were having. And I knew that if I could fix it for other people, because I knew I could probably solve that problem for somebody else. If I solved that problem for someone else, then I'd be able to understand what the problem was and I could be able to fix it for my own company. And, fast forward a little bit ways down, I did that and people started saying, hey, I want to pay you to do this for me. So before I knew it, I had a company that it's now called Hands Off CEO. And that other company, the design and web design and branding company, I sold it to one of the staff members, and she's still running it today. It's a tiny little company, but still, I was able to pass off that company, and it was, she's really enjoyed being able to run that company all this time, and now we have this nice, growing company that's helped, hundreds of. I think it's hundreds now of consulting agencies to be able to scale, and have a number of them create multiple million-dollar companies. And some of them are pushing up into the 8 figures, and we've helped some 8-figure companies be able to dramatically increase their profits. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, and it's, you mentioned it's easier to solve somebody else's problems. I think that's true in every aspect of life. And I think It's really hard for entrepreneurs to realize that as smart as you are, as talented as you are, as sophisticated as you are, as much business savvy as you have, there's still something going on that you just can't see.
Yeah, totally. We all have blind spots. You're right.
So when it comes to somebody's business, where do you see that happening the most often? Is there kind of a thing that people aren't doing in their businesses? Is it that they don't want to let go of the reins, or is there, something else going on?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is that even if they want to let go of the reins, they can't. And there's a number of, there's a lot of trite business advice out there that lacks the nuance to make it be actually very useful. So for example, we hear just work on your business instead of in it. It's just like, yeah, great. I know. But the reality is if I let go of this and without the right people in place, then everything's going to go to hell. And then we're going to lose our clients. And now we have an issue of not making any money because we've lost all these clients, right? So you have this, so you can't let go. But the problem is that you can't let go and hire those high level people because you don't have the cash flow to do that. You don't have the cash flow to do that because you don't have time to go generate more sales, and you don't have time to generate more sales because you know that like you don't have the capacity to service more clients. So like this, it's like this entrapment cycle that you have to break free. And until a service business is able to break free from that entrapment cycle, they will continually stay stuck. And we especially see that this cycle happening between about 800,000 and especially 3 million. That's what keeps them stuck from being able to scale to 5 million. That's a key place where a lot of our clients come in. But like I was mentioning, we have some that are on the higher level too, that are beyond that.
Okay, so when it comes to kind of that entrapment, is it so much the systems? Is it support? Is it their state of mind? Is there a culmination of everything and the potentiality of everything?
It's all of that. And the problem is that you read these business books and says you need better systems. And you're like, okay, we need to go get better systems, and you put better systems in place. But the better systems, like they only make a marginal increase. And the reason why is because the systems are dependent on one thing. And that one thing is what all the systems and operations people are not telling you to change. The reason why? They don't know how to change it. They actually don't know how to change it. So you have to look at operations from actually the sales angle, because actually 80% of the problems in your operations, in your capacity, in your ability to deliver, in your ability to let go, it all starts in the sales process.
So talk to me about that, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs, founders, whatever you want to call them, will go, this is what we do, this is how we sell it, and then abdicate.
Right. Well, there's on one extreme, you're right. There's the abdicate on one extreme, right? And that tends to be a lot of the commodity level services where, I mean, the CEO doesn't care as much about the results. There's that happens. And on the other side, there is where the CEO cares a great deal about the results. And what ends up happening is they just trap themselves more and more. Every new client they bring on, they get more and more trapped in it because they don't have the ability to let go of that. And because they've tried it before. I guess it wasn't that they didn't, like, I think that probably wasn't nice for me to say that they don't care about the clients. They do care. It's like, we've all let go before, and it just like, it turned into a train wreck. We've all done this, all right? It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you learn a lesson and you won't do it again, right?
Well, and it's not so much that they don't care. It's that they think that they have a system in place. And it's like, okay, yeah, I have this in place. I have trained you on how to do it. Just keep doing it and we'll be done. Like, right. That's the way business works. And it just doesn't sometimes.
It doesn't sometimes. Right. So, I can talk about why it doesn't. And, you said that you talked about those two polar extremes here. I mean, I was talking about those two polar extremes there. I guess not just polar, but there's the abdicating, and then there's like being very hands-on. And you need to find a way that you can actually pass it off, but have the systems and structures in a way where you trust that it's getting done right, and the transparency and feedback loops. And like, now I'm talking about systems in a way that it's just like, okay, eyes glazing over right now. Okay, we can just step out of that for a second, but those things have to be in place. But here's the problem, is that all of that is based upon what you're selling. So if you are selling, if your sales process looks like, I got a referral and whatever you need is what I'm going to give you, like that is fine up to a certain point in your business. But when you want to scale and when you want to have other people help you with that, and when you need to be able to have offers that, first of all, have enough profit margin to be able to hire good quality people. Because otherwise you're going to always be the one doing it. Because you're not going to, if the people don't have, if you can't count on your people to have the level of expertise to replace you, then you will be ones doing it, unless you want the quality to decline. And I will say a lot of service businesses have bought into the lie that you need to have that you need to just kind of let go of it being the high standards and just realize that the business is going to be different. And the reality is the business is going to be different. It's going to be different because you're not going to be the one managing it. But what if you could actually instead of devalue your services and turn them into commodities that are more scalable. Yes, commodities are more scalable, but commodities are also really, really hard to sell. And commodities don't have the profit margins or the cash flow to be able to hire the right people to be able to do it. So a lot of times you end up having to do it yourself, because you might not have enough margins there. And oftentimes you end up having to be the one selling it because there's not the profit margin to be able to actually pay for the cost of acquisition, right? So there's all these unworkability, there's all these issues with the typical way of like the referral comes in and we sell them whatever they need. So I can share with you what I've seen works better if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Then feel free to just interrupt me if I'm going off on a ramble. Just
Doing great. Doing awesome. Because I really think it is an issue that when people are going, well, then we need to triple our fees, to your point. And a lot of the kickback is, yeah, but our clients won't pay that.
You're right. Your current clients probably won't.
You got to find new clients.
So that's the thing is your current clients may not. But actually, first of all, the one thing is to check your own internal stories, because if you say that they're not going to pay triple the amount, you're right. They're not going to. And then the other part about this too is that maybe it's not the current clients. Maybe your current clients are used to getting a really good deal and they're not willing to pay any more than that. Right now, let's contrast. Let's imagine you could bring on other clients that were a lot like the current clients you have, but you were able to offer a much bigger vision for them so that they could actually see, oh, wow, you're going to be able to help us get to $5 million over the next 3 years. Yeah, I want to be part of this. Or you're going to be able to help us reduce the costs and replace 2 people over the next 18 months. Sweet. All for it. And they're willing to pay. What we see is, first of all, they're willing to have longer term engagements, which, you know, that the holy grail of the retainers, like it moves into a service package where you can have reliable incoming income, and you know that you can count on that, and you have the longevity with a client so that you can get much bigger outcomes, where you're not just doing this like reselling type of thing, and instead you're actually out of the gate saying, this is the solution, we're going to install this solution, and it's going to be this amount, and you can build systems and processes around that. And you have the cash flow to be able to hire people, because you can charge higher upfront fees for that. You can charge it all upfront, actually, if you want to. But if you had a number of those clients, let's imagine you brought in 5 more of those clients, and you run into capacity issues. Like this other client it's maybe a little slow to pay. Maybe they're paying a fraction of what these new clients are paying. How likely is it that you're going to keep on these clients that have just been like, but they're my clients, I don't want to let go of them? Well, you're going to let go of them, right? You're going to say like, you're gone, right? And that's what we see happen with our clients, is that they start bringing on these higher level clients, and they're looking at them there and they're saying, wow, these clients are paying a lot more and they're way less work than these other clients that I'm now realizing are kind of a pain in the butt. And they didn't even see them as a pain in the butt before, but when they start seeing how much more another client is willing to pay, and how much easier it is to work with them, and how they have like these longer term engagements with them, you know, maybe they're 6-figure, 7-figure engagements, they're like, I wonder which ones, where we wanted to really take our business. So it definitely is a different direction. It doesn't have to happen all at once. You don't have to just fire everybody. But that's the kind of consulting business that allows you can actually scale that. You can scale that, and you're scaling excellence. You're not just scaling systems. You're not just scaling deliverables. You're scaling excellence.
I love it. So when you're working with people and you're doing this, are you looking at having kind of more of an upfront contract in order to be able to educate your clients and get them there? Or is it more of educating the entrepreneurs themselves to figure out what they need to do to change their whole business model? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of that. I just asked you 28 questions and you can take it any which way you want.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's a couple of questions there, and I'll unpack those questions. So one of them is, I think you were asking for like, what do our clients go and sell to them? Are they taking upfront amounts?
Well,
is that one of the questions you're asking?
Me, I found in our business that when we had a certain kind of service that we would offer, and then we go, okay, this is going great, and I'd like to refine this offer a little bit because I want a different kind of clientele, and what are we going to have to do to be able to do that? For the most part, I had to bring in kind of an upfront portion to the program so that I could educate them on what it is that we were going to be doing and how we're going to be doing it, which made it different than the other ones. That could just be my mindset, and that could just be my head trash crap going on. Talk to me about what yours does, and then I'll go into the next question I have.
Okay. So what I think maybe what you're asking is like, do we do like an initial engagement that we use to then sell them into a longer term thing? Is that kind of what you're saying in there?
Could be. Yeah.
Okay. So,
go with
all right,
that.
So I'll take it in a different direction, and you let me know if I answered your question or not. So, so really what we're doing is we're looking at how do we reposition the entire business so that instead of us offering this, maybe it's a marketing automation, instead of it's maybe it's writing emails, maybe it's doing some tech implementation of some kind, like that those are like the deliverables that we're oftentimes used to selling and clients are used to buying. Their clients are saying, hey, you know what? I need SEO. Can you do SEO? Right. And you could say, yes, we can do SEO. I'm not saying your company necessarily, but that's just giving an example.
I get it.
So,
all good. Keep going.
So looking at it from that angle, what happens is a lot of strategies, they will say, okay, well, you need to niche down. So you go and niche down and say, okay, we're going to do SEO for dentists. So now what you've done is you've just actually, it's making the assumption that just because you're doing SEO for dentists, that you're actually going to become better and that the clients are willing to pay more. And it, you know what, on some level it does work, but you've also removed a lot of your market too. And that's one of the things that's an issue with niching that people have a concern with. Now, how do you actually deal with that? Because the problem is now you only have dentists who are looking for SEO services who are your clients. Now, what if instead of niching down and it that way, and you're doing SEO services for dentists, for example, I'm assuming, I don't know if dentists would be the most profitable client in that, but maybe what I probably would do is to say, okay, well, you know what, we're going to do a growth package for a dental group. So maybe you're going after the dental group that has like 5 different dental practices underneath it. And they're not looking for SEO services necessarily. And maybe they are, but the SEO services is just going to be a part of their marketing budget. How could you actually position your SEO services to be so that you can be a growth partner for them? And this actually is oftentimes for services. This is where it gets them tripped up a little bit, because this is where you have to expand out beyond what you're actually initially doing and look at what is the consulting that maybe the free consulting that you're doing that you're not really being paid for. How do you be able to beef that up so you can actually look at what will it actually take for us to take this dental practice, for example, this 5 practice, what will it take for us to be able to help them double over the next 3 years, for example? And when you look at it from that angle, and then you position your brand and your offer and saying, we help dental, I'm going to butcher this because I'm just making this up as I go, but
all good.
But like, I'm making this up because I don't want to also just like I have lots of examples, but I don't want to like give our clients secrets away. So I'm trying to like make some stuff up. But so if we go over like a dental conglomerate, we help dental conglomerates be able to double, adding at least $5 million over the next, it's not 5 million would be enough. It'd be like 10. We had 30% year over year growth for them, adding at least $5 million over the next 18 months. Now, if you bring an offer like that to them, they're like, first of all, they might not believe you, and that's okay. But will they get on the phone with you? Probably. Right. So it's about how do you be able to back up those claims? And the reality is that a lot of companies can't back up those claims, and it might be too big of an offer for them. So what's your next level offer that allows you to be able to expand into a new client type? So instead of niching down and saying, we're just going after the people who want SEO, we're going after people who want to be able to generate 30% year over year growth for their company, as an example. How big is that market? it's like 100% all of them want that, right? So like, are they willing to get on the, yes, they're willing to. Otherwise, if you're saying, well, we do SEO for dentists, then they're just like, well, okay, thanks. Good to know. We have an SEO provider. We'll let you know if we're interested. But if you're saying we're going to be able to help you grow X amount over the next 18 months, they're like, well, our SEO provider is not doing that, or our PPC is not doing that, or our financial experts aren't doing that. They're going to want to know, they're going to want to know how. Even if they're not going to get on the phone, you can send over materials and they'll be very interested to look at them.
Awesome. So then talk to me about kind of that consulting aspect of it. Are they front end loading that strategy so that the dentist conglomerate can understand how that all works? Or is that kind of an ongoing piece that becomes that you're something you're working on the whole time? Or could it be dependent on the business that, oh, it's whatever they need?
Well, it's going to be a lot of those things. First of all, there's education up front before you have a client. The more you educate a client up front, the more you're going to get paid, basically. So if you're looking at if your services don't need a lot of education and you can just buy them right off the shelf right there, that's the closer to commodity that you have. And it's and the only exception to that is if someone is an extremely well-educated prospect. But then how do they know if they're an extremely well-educated prospect? How do they know you're really good? Well, really only a referral. So a referral will cut through all of that, and you can, that's great, but it's difficult to scale your company on referrals alone, especially when you're into, $3 million plus range, when you're like tapped out your market, or where the CEO is like, well, I've got a great network. I've got a great network, but like, I don't want to be the only one selling this thing anymore. Right. So, you have to have a way that you could be able to sell from ice cold. So like if you're reaching out on LinkedIn, if you're reaching out over cold email, if you're at some mixer, or if you're speaking on a stage, like how do you be able to communicate with and really call out your most ideal clients in a way that they're like, what's going on? I want to hear more. Right.
Awesome. I love it. So is there kind of a place where people go for the cold market, or is it totally dependent on their business as to whether or not they're going to find that audience in the LinkedIn's, the stages,
it's going to be different business to business, but really at the end of the day, it's like you have a really good offer, and it's for an offer for a specific type of client, and you can offer a specific result. Our result is we help consulting agencies be able to free 10 extra hours per week to focus on growth, triple their fees, and add multiple millions of dollars of profitable growth. So that's specifically for consulting agencies. Now, if we have messaging that's related to that, we go where our prospects are going to, like our most ideal type of clients are going to be, and then offer that, and they're pretty interested to talk to us. So that's an example of one way that we do it. And, we get to a point where we're kind of at a wait list right now. Right. So, when you have your messaging dialed in like that, it allows you to be able to scale in that way, where you just get to pick and choose the clients that you work with. And then your sales then become like where your prospects are really applying to work with you, where you get to decide, do I want to work with this company? What can we see as a result from this? And you're just like kind of playing a detective, looking at their business and saying, what can we do for you? What if we work together, what could this look like? And you're evaluating from that angle. And then it builds a lot of trust. And then you're also not attached to whether you get the business or not. So your close rate tends to go higher. And then you just get to work with your perfect profit sweet spot soulmate clients that just are really fun. And then your team likes that too, because then they get to work with people they really enjoy.
Nice. I love that. So on that note, what would you say is your favorite part of your business?
Favorite part of my business? Oh, I like the people aspect. I mean, I love working with our clients, and I'm not the only advisor on our team, but I love watching people shift and change and be able to see a bigger outcome that I love it when they have a mindset of like, okay, my company is at, say it's 3 million or it's somewhere like that, or maybe it's $1 million. And they just like, okay, I would love to just be able to get to this next level. And it's like, it's so tiny compared to what I know is possible for them. And then when they actually be like, wow, I see it. I see my $10 million company. I see my $20 million company. And when they shift that, and it really comes, it oftentimes comes from that offer though, when they actually see what's possible and they're like, wow, I don't need to sell it for this amount anymore. I don't need to be taking on clients that are only paying us, $4,000 a month anymore. I don't need to take on clients, or maybe that aren't even paying. Maybe your low level is 20,000. You're like, we're no longer taking clients under 50,000. But when you look at it from that angle, and you can do, like, I just love watching our clients be able to do the very best work that they can do in the world. And like, we work with such amazing innovators. And these are innovators that, like, they are capped in their impact and how they can change the world because they're working too much in their business, because they're stuck in it. They can't scale themselves out of it. They're the very best service providers. And if we can't help them free up capacity, then all the crap service providers are going and helping people, helping them, and they're not really doing much good. So I want to be able to make it possible for the very best people in the world to be going and servicing those people, and they're generating more wealth and doing more good in the world. So that's what, to answer your question, a little bit verbose, but that's what I'm excited about in my business.
That's awesome. And you're clearly excited about it. So
Oh, yeah.
Give us an example of a Cinderella story of one of your clients.
Okay. Cinderella story. All right. Well, one of our clients, his business was at $600,000 a year. It's a little earlier than we work with for most of our clients. We do work with some people that are at about $500,000 for just their offers. But so he is at $500,000 a year, or about 600,000. I'm all tripping all over myself. It's late in the day. In the first, so he was at capacity and wasn't able to scale his company because the next hire he would have to bring on is an engineer. And he didn't have the cash flow to bring on, a 6-figure level salary. So what we did is we were able to find ways to free up capacity in his company and be able to remove him from the day-to-day. And as a result, he was able to add $2.1 million in the first year. Actually, we got him to 2.1 million. It was actually adding 1.5 million. So 600,000 to 2.1 million, that added 1.5 million. And now he's well over 4 million in his company. He has multiple companies that run without him. He has like about 4 companies that run without him. And this is a company that's on their way to $20 million plus company. And that's on the side that there's and they're selling $1 million offers now, right? And before they were they'd have packages that were in the 5 figures, and some that were on the 6-figure level, but now their low is in the multiple 6 figures, and now they're selling 7-figure packages and engagements with their clients. And it has a really big environmental impact too with the work that they do. And they're able to save their target market with the fishermen. They're able to help them save a massive chunk of their fish and their product that would otherwise die. So all of those fish that, we have a shortage of fish in the ocean and all that. So a big chunk of that and that whole industry just dies. So they've completely eliminated that, and they have a 0 mortality. So like
wow.
Yeah. So they have an irresistible offer, right? They're saving, they can literally save millions of dollars for these companies that they work with. And now they've been expanding out, and they have other more scalable products that they're selling. And it's been really fun to watch them. So that's one Cinderella story. We've got a recent client that actually is now going to be selling an 8-figure deal that is $1 million per year plus a $5 million success fee at 5 years. So that was really fun to put together. That was just a few weeks ago.
Right. Congratulations. That sounds awesome.
Thank you. And then we have clients that, like, I can keep going. Tell me to stop if you want.
Oh, no, not at this part. You keep going.
All right.
This is the stuff we want to hear.
Yeah. So you can go on our website and hear on our podcast, our Hands Off CEO podcast, where we have some of these folks actually sharing, these leaders share about their stories and how they did that. But another one is Mark. And this is like, his company is on the Mark strategy. So to give you an idea, like, he's he's on the stage. Everybody wants Mark, right? So that was one of the challenges he was running into is that they would go and sell something and now they have to deliver it. I mean, to your point, what you were saying, and the quality was such an important aspect of it. So he would go sell something, deliver it, and it'd keep packing his schedule to the point where he's so stressed out that his face was almost twitching, right? So he had really become a victim of his own success, and there was a cap. There was only so much more productivity you can have as a person. And yes, he had a team, but there was only so much he could count on his team to do. So what we discovered is one of the biggest issues that was keeping him stuck in the day-to-day is that his smaller packages were like $20,000, $30,000 packages. And the client value, they stay on, they buy another package. So, but the problem is that to be able to go and sell another package, who had to sell that? It was Mark, right? So every time he'd have to sell it, upsell it. And then it was the start, stop thing. So what we said was like, no more of this. This is crazy. So this is also during the pandemic when his banking clients, banks are more conservative. They were sticking their heads in the ground and saying, let's just wait this thing out. I'm scared. So, and they were not investing at that lower level even. So what we did is we repackaged this services. We bundled together some things. It's not just about bundling though, but we bundled it together and we looked at what is this bigger outcome that we could create for the right banking clients, for the right credit union. So we looked at where that profit sweet spot client is, and we identified exactly in that niche where their profit sweet spot client is. And then we actually repackaged it to a $120,000 offer. The $120,000 offer sold when the $20,000 packages weren't.
Right? That is so crazy to so many people. And every time you hear it, it still sounds crazy to me, but it's true.
It's a 600% plus price increase, but here's how it made things so much easier on the operations side. So they increased their prices 600%, but it allowed Mark to actually be able to step out of the day-to-day because now they have they have a whole timeline and he can step away from that. And now when you're selling an outcome, it's not, we're selling a block of time for Mark, it's not about any particular team member, because if you're selling time or even a smaller package, they always want you. They always want you as the top consultant who's the owner of the company. So how do you get out of that? Is that you move away from this outcome and you manage to the outcome. And then when the client says, hey, I want you, it's like, well, great. Well, you know what? We actually have our strategists that will be walking you through here. They don't even have the opportunity to say, next step is this, next step is this, next step is this. We're right on track. We're right on track. And as they start seeing the results, it builds more and more trust. But you can engineer a whole service delivery when you have an actual package, but you can see how when you have to keep on upselling these individual pieces, even if they do have systems and processes, they had systems and processes. That wasn't the problem. It was that they didn't have an offer that had enough price point and cash flow to be able to actually know that they could invest ahead of the people to be able to put the next level people into place for Mark to really step away. And that's allowed him to add millions of dollars of growth to his company a lot more profitably. That's one of the things he shared on our podcast. He thought the profits were going to go down as he scaled. He's been shocked to find out that they have actually gone up as he's scaled, as he's hired people. Imagine that.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So what are some of the stumbling blocks that somebody may be having right now going, oh my God, Mandi, I need you so badly in my business?
Okay. The stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
So some of the stumbling blocks is you're working over 50 hours a week. That could be a stumbling block, or let's say maybe it's 40 hours a week and you want to be working 30. That could be one of those things. And you run into this place where you, like I was mentioning, that entrapment cycle where you have to keep switching back and forth between making a sale and delivering the work. And then not having the time to go and build the processes and it's like you know what you need to do, but you don't have time to do all those things. And oftentimes what that really comes down to at that stage that we mentioned is that especially between 800,000 and 3 million is that you don't have the management in place. So when you get the right management in place, then you can actually step back from those things. And that's one of the things that we help our clients with is putting in place an operations manager, and then giving them the systems and processes to actually operationalize what I was mentioning before. I was mentioning about that offer, increasing your price point, putting together the package. All right, great. You sell it. Now, how do you deliver it? So we actually train them on how to deliver that, and how to deliver it with integrity, and how to deliver it in a way where the clients are going to be delighted. And then they're not going to care that the CEO is not involved, because they're getting what they want. So the stumbling blocks also too is noticing the profits going down, or the profits are okay, but the problem is the profits are actually not okay when you take into consideration hiring people to actually take over your parts of the company. Because that's one of the things that we see is the profits are great until you go and hire out things that the CEO is doing, when the CEO should be working on growing the company. And now the profits can really go down. So at that point, it's really an inflection point where you look at, how do we want to invest ahead of the growth of the company? Or do we want to just keep the company small and keep the CEO working in the day-to-day? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just knowing which one you want it's going to save you from a lot of grief, and trying to put in place the kind of system, put in place the kind of business that you don't want to have.
Right. So I know our listeners are going to want more from you. How do they start their journey with you?
Yeah. So if you, what they can do is, we have a book coming out, The Hands-Off CEO. And what that will do is that the full title is Hands-Off CEO, Triple Your Fees, and profitably Scale an Exceptional Consulting Agency That Grows Without You. And if you go to /checklist, actually, I didn't say it, handsoffceo.com/checklist, then you can download our whole summary, the book summary, that's very meaty. It has a whole checklist, a scalability checklist, and it will show you how to actually triple your fees in your company. So, and then when the book comes out, you can go and go purchase that book as well. But yeah, download the book, reach out to us. You can reach out on LinkedIn as well if you want to reach out and connect. And if there's anyone that's listening and saying, this is totally my problem right now, this is where I'm at, reach out to our team and, have a conversation with us, and we can see what might be possible in your company. So.
Nice. I love it. We will, of course, have all of your links in the show notes. So peeps, scroll down, go and check those out, open in a new browser, because we're not done yet. So Mandi, at what point in life did you know that you were special, kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
That was crazy enough. The problem was I was always crazy, and I knew I had to do some kind of different. But earlier on, I thought there was a problem with that. Now I know that it's fine. But I started business ideas from the time I was 10. And then I started mowing lawns as my own little business. And I was always trying to find ways to make money. And it was just kind of fun, so that's what I knew. When I was in high school, maybe this is too much information, and feel free to cut this out if you want. But when I was in high school, someone asked me, someone asked, what do you want to do when you're older? What do you want to do when you grow up? And I said, I want to get paid to tell people what to do. So that was my little snarky teenager thing, because I had observed that I seemed to have pretty good judgment about things that were breaking down and problem solving. But I didn't, and it was a joke though. I didn't think people would actually pay me to tell them what to do. So that's what I do, is I get paid to tell people what to do, and it helps them make millions of dollars in their business. So I don't think that I would have been able to have that pathway in any other way. So to answer your question.
I love the insightfulness and the snark of just recognizing that you're really good at something. It's like, wow, how do I get paid to do this? And as an adult, it's like, you can totally get paid to do that. That's awesome.
I wish someone would have told me that, but
I love it. You have been absolutely awesome, Mandi. Thank you. Any last words for our peeps?
Just focus on being exceptional. That's the last thing I'd just say is the best way to scale is to focus on scaling what you're amazing at, Don't listen to any of the lousy advice out there about watering down your services. Just keep on getting better and better and better and dial that in and scale that.
Love it. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I know how valuable it is.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle. It's been such a pleasure.
Awesome. Peeps, thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with your friends. We'd love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.